Okay, so this is just a short one today. I'm just going to follow up on my cherry tree package. So what we've got here is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 assets. 3 different colors of trees, 2 stumps, various roots, saplings, and what's this one? Oh yeah, this one's good. Scaled up a little bit because he's not a sapling. That one's a sparse. And we just move him into place. There we go, perfect. Yeah, actually I've got to move. Touching the ground, there we go. All right, let's get rid of that. So over here, I'm just going to zoom in. So we've got this ancient tree. You can see it's much thicker and bigger than the normal ones. So we've got, on the normal ones, we've got regular cherry tree, like a reddish, magenta kind of color. Then we've got one that is pink and white. And we've got one over here that is pink. And then we've got another one at the end here that's white. So we've got 4 base trees. Then we come over here to this really plumped out thick one with this really big and gnarly trunk to it. So that's an ancient one. Then I've got these, which I'm just going to move to show you. These are just roots, right? So you can do a lot of things with these. You could use them as I've got them, just so that it's a gnarly old ancient tree with these big roots coming out as a demo. There's 3 different ones. These 2 look similar, but they have a different twist and a different angle. The branch comes further away from the ground here, and this one comes closer to the ground. And then this one here is a double, it's a split out. So between those, scaling, shaping, twisting, you could do a whole bramble forest theme or whatever you wanted to do. You could do an ancient, you could do trees without any leaves on them at all and do an ancient old gnarled forest. And it's a fairly generic bark, this cherry bark that I chose here. Let me see if I can zoom in and show you a little bit. You can see it here, kind of. You can change the UV wrapping on it. So I've done a little different between all the trees to show the age. This one's a little tighter. Then when you get over here to the to this tree, it's even more gnarly. And on these roots, I've just left it kind of the same. I used the same spacing as I used here, but you can change that to match better if you want. Yeah, this is just placing them on in the scene, right? So you can see there that gnarly old root. Then we come over here to these, and so what I've got is I've got a gnarly old log line that you can put lying on the ground with a root wad under to it. So it could be like a blowdown. Then this one here is more of a sawed off end, so like somebody bucked it and left it in the forest, or you could end up using it for a resource or something. So I just wanted to make sure you get each tree type. I'm going to give you a few different logs to play with. So then we come here to these gnarly saplings. We got them lots of curves, just like I did with the roots. Let me see if I can just go a little more overhead here. Sure, we can get rid of this. And so you can see there, we've got some more twisties and some neat shapes coming out. Same here. And these are, I just called these ones saplings. You know, again, different shape here. They're all a little different shaped. So that gives you 3 different saplings, of course, with red, pink, and white. And then I went to this, what I called sparse trees. And so instead of being so sapling and low to the ground on their growth, they're still curvy like these, but they're middle. So they're pretty stylistic. You got some really neatness to them. So there's a magenta one, and again a little different with this big snake around branch here, pink one, and then you've got the spread out one here, white one. So, you know, nice Y split on that one. Now, what I've done on this one is, you just click here on the ground. You can see the animation. All I've done is I've gone to the resources, and I'll just show you where I did that. So the resources, I'm going to move you up here, the cherries. Now, I've created all these as separate. You have the ability to like double up on all the barks and stuff and lower your file size. But these aren't very big files. Let me just go in there and show you this. So let me just go here, and I'm just going to go up one. Here we can go to cherry. I'll go to anyone here, and there's a bark. Properties, right? So file size 1.4 megs. So I mean, even if you have in the entire pack, if you have a ton of trees, and at the end of the day you've got, I don't know, say 120 different trees that you've imported across all the genres. I mean, what are you looking at? 300 megs? So it's not very big, a pretty small file size. And the thing with that is to be able to treat them all separately. So like in this one here, I've got a windblown cycle happening, right? 0.0015 X force, 0 Y force, 0.0015 Z force, right? And then I've changed up the cycle. If I had a shared resource at this one here that has nothing, it's just set to, here, let me just widen that out. It's just map discard, so there's no animation to it. Because I was just getting these assets into the scene just to show the assets. But if I wanted to set that to a map file, if I was using the same map file, I couldn't. I'd have to copy it anyway in Engine and set it up. So I like to bring all my textures in and use them multiple times. I'm only using 1K textures, if that. A lot of my textures are only 600K. So, or 600 meg, DPI, so they're not even a full 1024, but 1024. So, not a huge file size. There's a lot of options there for you to use. And same goes with the bark. So you go into the bark here, this one, I've scaled it 4x4 in the UV scaling. But if we come down here to say this one, I've only scaled it 2x1 because it's a little sapling, and I don't know. So these little saplings, I don't need the bark. I like the bark. Oh, that's not a sapling. There's a sapling right there. So I like the bark to be more of a longer, younger bark, not so densely scaled. It helps define the age of the tree, right? Like younger bark isn't nearly as gnarly, and it doesn't have nearly the scales in it that say this one has, right? So you can see it's the same texture pattern. It's got the same coloring. It's got the same design to it. It is the cherry bark. However, it's not as old and rugged. So that's one way to do that, by scaling that out. And then you can see I've added that animation, and it looks quite nice. So anyway, I'm just going to do a quick jump into Engine here, just before I finish off here, just to show you in Engine, walking past the cherry trees. And of course those spruce trees. There's the roots, the big old ancient tree. Zoom in a little bit here. I can walk past these roots because what I've done is I've set up capsule collision. So I can't walk past the middle, but I can walk past the roots. And same on like the logs and stuff, I can walk over. I've set pretty much all my collisions on these trees and things to be capsules rather than mesh. Now you could set them to be mesh depending on what you're doing. So you're looking up at the tree there. If I zoom up just a little bit, look at how neat those cherry trees look when you're looking up at them, right, from your perspective. And then these little sapling trees, they look pretty neat as you're walking past them. Walking past the branches, they don't get in the way, but in the middle, I'm hopping up and over. So that's in Engine, how those look. Let's just go over here, look at these logs again. A different angle. One thing I did have on this tree that I didn't like, but I just chalked it up to, maybe a break in the tree or whatever, was I have a polygon split right here where the polygon is bigger than the bend radius was. I could have segmented that, But this ancient tree is already quite a few polygons. Like it's, what was it, like 4,800 triangles. Sorry, I keep using polygons, I mean triangles. So I didn't want to do any more, and being an ancient old tree, having a couple of little defects in the bark, jagging out and stuff, just kind of gives it character, so I wasn't really that concerned about it. Especially since I would probably do something like this. We go here. Oh wait, it's BK3. I'm just going to grab this guy. I'm going to bring him down. I'm going to grab that guy instead. Come over here. Slap him down on the ground. Here, scale. Oop, I'll go there. Something like that. And I'm going to move him. Because again, once you get into level design, these are just roughly placed. I'm not really doing level design here. I'm just showing them off in their natural environment. However, sure, that looks pretty good, I think. I'm going to squish him down a little bit more though. Sure, that looks good. And we're just going to move him over just a little bit more. There we go. Now we got a big old tree growing against the, you know what, I'm going to actually take this root and now move it. Rotate it a bit. Sure, that looks good. Then we're just going to hit save and jump back in. And you'll see it was just that, 30 seconds of wander over here. There we go. Now we got some gnarly roots, and we got this neat ash cherry tree growing out of this big rock. So there's all sorts of neat stuff you can do, right? Anyway, that's all I wanted to show you today. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.